Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Bryant, and I got a special guest with us today. I got my brother, Devon. How you doing?
Good, bro.
Yes, sir. So let's bring them back. Talk about your upbringing. So where you from?
So I'm originally from Miami, Florida. Hung out in Miami for most of my life, and then around high school, we ended up moving to Mississippi. My mom's side from Mississippi, my dad's side from Turkey Caicos Island. So when my grandmother kind of got older, we went to take care of her. Big culture shock, man. But went to Mississippi, did college there, and I don't think you know this. I was in the Army there.
Hold on. Let's bring it back. You got any siblings?
Yeah. So I got a brother on my dad's side and a brother on my mom's side, so two brothers.
Okay, were y'all all in the same household?
So my brother on my mom's side, yeah, and then when I went to my pop's house, I link up with my brother over there.
Are you the middle child?
I'm the baby, bro.
Oh, you the baby. Okay. So you the one that got spoiled.
Something like that. Yeah, bro, I was a baby. My brother on my dad's side, we actually 9 months apart. So, you do that math, Pops was,
Yeah. Pops was doing his thing. But
yeah.
Were y'all like competitive growing up?
So me and him, it wasn't an open competition, but we brothers. So, we racing and we, doing things and we don't know what we doing, but we competing through everything. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into high school, right? Any jobs in high school?
So my first job, man, I don't know if they got them here, Sonic Foods.
It's Sonic?
Yeah, Sonic.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
So I was a car hop and they tried to put me on skates. You know what I'm saying? You had to skate out to the car. And so I seen the girl skating with the food and she fell. I said, nah, I can't do the skate, bro. So I ain't get the skates. But yeah, man, I was a car hop at Sonic.
Okay.
And so you had to do like quick math because you come out to the car with the food and the change and you gotta be able to count. So
okay, yeah. You definitely needed that because if you get the order or the wrong change wrong, they coming at you.
Yeah, it ain't no cash register. Yeah.
So did you have any stories where you like maybe messed up one or two times?
Nah, man, ain't never messed up because I just was so set on not messing up that money and so not messing up and not falling because you gotta bring the food out on the tray. So just focus, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't there that long, but I did it though.
That sounds like a pressure job for real. So did you do anything like, entrepreneur growing up in terms of like high school where you didn't have to clock in?
Yes, sir. So I did lawn. I mowed lawns, and then I had a business called CDs for the Three. So I burn CDs, bro. Wayne, Webby, everybody that dropped, I had the CDs. The day they dropped, I sold them for $3.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Lit. CDs for the Three. So I was always hustling, man. Like growing up, just making money. But like I said, mowing yards in Mississippi. You got to get out there and grind. So that's what I did.
Okay. Yeah. Did you go to college?
Yeah. So
what college you went to?
I started out at the University of Southern Mississippi. That didn't go so well, and so then I ended up in Mississippi State where I did graduate at.
Okay, what you graduate in?
So I was mass communications, public relations.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thought behind that, man, I was gonna be on ESPN one day. You know what I'm saying? That was my thought process until I figured out what that path actually looked like.
Okay, so what was your next steps after college?
So after college, man, so I was in the Army too. So I joined the Army
while in college
because I ran out of financial aid money, man. And so the Army recruiter was like, hey, we'll pay for school. And I signed up. So I wasn't trying to get a Camaro. That's what everybody said. I was trying to pay for school. And so, I signed up, went to the Army. And then that's what I did. When I graduated, I was still in Mississippi trying to find a job, bro. You know how I go. You graduate. And wasn't no job waiting, and so I had a thought. I was like, my people from Miami, so I'm gonna go back out here to Miami. And I thought I had a job in Miami, bro, but like they said it was a marketing company. But when I got there, bro, we was trying to sell Marlins tickets. And like the Marlins, bro, nobody goes to the game. So they had us like knocking door to door trying to sell tickets, bro. So I was like, nah, that ain't for me. And so find something to do.
Let's go on the door to door, right? Because door to door applies to real estate too, right? So
Somewhat, yeah.
what tips did you get from doing the door to doors? Can you give the viewers?
So what's so crazy is the fact that that was my first. I had no intentions on going door to door, but that was the job, and I was scared as hell. You know what I'm saying? And so because like I ain't had no sales experience. You know what I'm saying? And then like I'm like, wow, you know, it would. What they would teach is to get in front of people. So like they would want you to go to barber shops where it's 20 people in there. So I'm like, bro, what I'm about to say to you, you know, so I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro, I didn't make it like, I think 3 days and I did. I did. But the thing is, what I did learn is you gotta go get it. Like nobody gonna, you know, like you gotta go get it, and that's just what it is. And it was people that was getting it, so I knew it was possible. I just wasn't ready at the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So is this when you get into real estate?
Oh, no.
Okay. So at this time, you're still doing the Army. Do you get deployed?
Nah, so I was supposed to be deployed and they ended up canceling it. I was supposed to go to Kuwait. Yeah. So I never did get a chance to get deployed. That got canceled. What happened was I got a call from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And then that was my first like job. They had like a management training program, so I did that.
What you do in Enterprise?
So Enterprise, man, your job is to basically rent cars and it sells. So like if you notice, everything sells. Like you think you getting away from sales, but nah, you renting a car. So you're trying to get them to upgrade. You're trying to get them to get insurance. You're trying to get them to get something other than what they booked for. You're trying to upsell. And so I learned then that's when I learned pain points. Because if you're renting a car, and I would love it. We was on a busy street, so it was always an accident. So I could say, look, they just got in an accident. What if that's you and you don't have them insurance? Sign up right away. So you know what I'm saying? So I learned pain points because we would press the pain points of being in Miami and not having insurance. So we'll sell insurance.
That's smart. So how'd you do like at that job? Because is this commission based?
No, it wasn't commission. That's crazy you say that. It was not commission based. It was just the sales got you promoted. So, you know, it really was it doesn't sound as good. It should have been commissions based, but it was not. It was just grind and then you get promoted. And that was it.
Damn. That's wild. So what was your next steps after this?
So it's crazy. I was at the Enterprise, and then I met my girl at the time, my fiance. She was in medical school, and she was telling me about that she had to leave for residency. So I didn't really understand, but I knew we had to move. So with Enterprise, that ladder you climb, you're within that region. So I knew it was moving, so I had to find something else to do.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting recruited from Enterprise by Progressive Insurance. Yeah, to handle claims. Yeah, it's Progressive Insurance.
So this is like customer service on the phones.
So kind of on the phones, and then handling claims. When claims came in, I had to handle the claim.
All right. Yeah. So what inspired you to get into the entrepreneur route?
So, man, I had worked several jobs, doing several things, and I, realized that I was selling a lot, but my money wasn't changing. You know what I'm saying? Everything was sales. Even with Progressive, I was selling in injury claims, getting them to avoid getting an attorney, and I would save the company millions, but my check wouldn't change. Yeah. So it was like, doing something wrong here.
Yeah, because it's like you're putting all this work in, and you're not seeing no progression. That's why I tell people, like, you want to get jobs where it's result based or performance based. Like if I put this amount of work in, I'm getting paid off of the result, not just me being there, because you could close as many deals as possible and still get the same check. So now, what was like your steps? Like, is this when you got into real estate?
Right. So then while I'm at Progressive, I'm like, okay, I got to do something different. While I was there, we built our first house. And so our house, we were living in Mississippi at the time. So I left Miami and went back to Mississippi with her. That's where her residency was. And so we got our house built, and I saw the builders cash a check at closing, and they didn't do nothing. Like they didn't build a house. I was like, okay, that's
Wait. The builder didn't even build the house.
They never was even there. But
wow.
they got a check. So I'm like, okay, it's something there. And then our real estate agent, her check was nice. And I was asking her questions, and she was like, yeah, I love it. You know, flexibility. So, okay, something on this real estate side. And then the last thing was I had a house in my family that nobody wanted. And me being a hustler, I'm like, hey, you know, let me see if I can do something. I went out and got the dumbest loan ever. Like,
which loan was that? So we could avoid it.
Dude, I got on a site called Lending Tree. And they was the only ones that'll give me money. And the interest rate was ridiculous. I got 20 grand from them, and my payment was like $1,000-some a month, bro. So every month that this house is being renovated, I'm on the hook for $1,000. But the thing is, I didn't have the $1,000, so I was taking the money they gave me to make the payments and pay for the contractor. But it worked out, and the flip, you know, it hit, you know, and then I was like, okay, this real estate thing is crazy.
How much you got from that deal?
Ended up, when it was all said and done, about $60K. Yeah, $60K. Yeah, and that was not knowing what I was doing. But the thing is, the acquisitions part was missing because it was already in the fam. So like now I just kind of like stumbled upon a deal. So it was like, yeah, I flipped, but I wasn't really a flipper because I didn't know how to go get properties. Yeah. But I say all that to say I was introduced to real estate from multiple angles, and I knew it was something there.
Yeah. So you said the realtor's commission. You said the builder, them not even having to see the house to build. And then what was the last one?
And the flip I did.
And then the flip you did, cashed out for $60K. You was like, oh, nah, I gotta get into real estate. Yeah. So you're a realtor, right? So was the realtor route the first route that you did? Yeah.
I mean, you could call me an investor, but it was the realtor route. The realtor route, yeah.
Okay, so what was your next steps after that? How many times you took the test? Because I took, you know, I still didn't pass the test. So that like.
So man, the thing is with a realtor, we moved from Mississippi. That's when we came to Florida, because my girl's from Florida. She wrapped up the residency, so we moved to Florida. At this time, I'm working for Progressive, and I'm like, man, I don't want to get complacent. So I got into real estate school. I went to One Blue in Orlando. I didn't know nothing about them, but they seemed legit.
How'd you find them, on Google or something?
Google. And so when I went there, they were so legit, they got me ready for the test. I passed it the first time.
Damn, that's lit.
The first time. But I went to a really good real estate school, which, again, I just randomly picked the school. They look legit online. So that's the truth.
Okay. Yeah. So now you're working as a realtor. So how'd you get that first deal, or like how were you getting leads?
Man, my first deal. So my brother, who was also a real estate investor at that time, he was working for some type of financial company, and he would have to go like door to door. And at this time he was at a school, and the guy was like, nah, I can't invest because I want to buy a house. And he's like, okay, well, my brother, a real estate agent. And so he introduced me to that guy, and I called him. And, you know, being new to the game, I thought he was going to buy a house that day. You know, like, okay, you want to buy a house. And he was like, nah, I'm not ready yet. You know, I'll let you know. And he didn't buy a house till like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months later. Like he bought one, but what I didn't realize, I was nurturing him. I didn't know that though. I didn't know I was nurturing him. I just thought like, hey, I need to call him once a month. Like nobody told me. And then I just, you know, called him one time. Okay, I'm ready right now. So that was my first deal, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's lit. That's lit. So how much did you make from that deal, if you remember?
Man, that check, it was like $6,200.
Okay.
It was like $6,200, but that was after my broker took their money.
Their commissions as well. So now you're seeing it. As being a realtor, you still got to pay people out, right?
Oh yeah.
So how did that, how did the rest of that year go? Were you just being a real estate agent for the rest of that year, or is this when you get into wholesale?
So I was still working at that time. This was like 2019, 2020. So I met him in 2019. He didn't close till 2020. And then by that time, I think another deal had came through where another agent had referred it to me. So the truth is, I didn't know how to get business. I was a realtor, but I didn't know how to get business. But I was still working, so it didn't really matter as much.
Yeah. Like they was coming to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what inspired you to get into wholesaling?
So being a realtor, I had another realtor that hit me up and wanted me to list land for her that she couldn't sell. And I was like, okay, where this land coming from, and things like that. And she was like, I get people under contract, and I didn't understand, but I was appreciative of the deals she was giving me. But working for her, I started picking up more and more on what's going on.
With the investor side.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you didn't take any like courses at this time or anything like that?
Nah.
Was you on like YouTube University?
YouTube University, working with her and just watching. And then the company that she went through to learn, they had like a free course, and I took theirs. So that was my first course situation after watching her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you close any house deals at this time?
So I was closing like wholesaling house deals.
Yeah, like in wholesaling.
No, so I had not closed any wholesale deal. Like I had yet to wholesale for myself. I'm just watching her, trying to learn it, but still hadn't touched a wholesale deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So is this when we got acquainted with each other?
So this was around the time we got acquainted. Yeah.
Okay. So tell them the story on how we got introduced.
Right. So at that point, I was only comfortable with investing in real estate, like trying to do flips and stuff like that. So I had done another flip in the meantime in Poinciana, and then I was looking for the next one, and then I saw a house that you had listed as a wholesaler.
Yeah. So at this time, this is 2020.
Yeah.
I listed this house on Facebook Marketplace. I got it for a great discount, got it from like a vacant house list, negotiated a great price at the time. And I remember you hitting me up on the DM. He was like, I think you locked this up too high or something like that.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, I was asking about the ARV or something. Like, I was questioning you. So, yeah.
He was putting that pressure on me. I'm like, listen, I got so many like buyers that's hitting me up, but you was the only buyer. Like, I want you to check your numbers, make sure everything's right? So now, you actually meet me at the house because I had an inspection. I'm showing my buyers. I already have it under contract. So I'm showing all my buyers. And I remember you coming through.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Yeah, so I come through, you hanging out at the house. The owner's there. Is this big white guy. He kind of looking like, hey, what's going on? Yep. And I walked through the house, and I end up I don't even know what happened. It wasn't a bad deal. I just didn't move on it. But we had each other's information after the interaction.
Yeah, with that deal, I'm not sure if you remember, but I remember I thought it was a 2-2, right?
Yeah.
Or no, a 2-1. And I never got to actually check fully inside because it was dark. There was no lights.
Right.
So when you checked, you was like, there's a master bathroom. And when you told me that, I was like, yes, because I knew that increased the price from 10,000. So I know my profit at that time was around 10 to 12.
Yeah.
But when you told me that second bathroom, I raised my prices up, and I actually made 23,000 from that first deal.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
So now, this is when I got into land. So is this when you get into land now? Because I started doing land shortly after. And then, so how'd you get into the land space? So
again, the girl that I was working with, she was doing the land. I'm watching her. And then I see you like posting sold. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And so I do get involved with the land, but I get involved in the way that they're doing it. The girl that I first saw doing it. And the way that they were doing it was like, it was rough, man, because they would send out just letters, and letters are expensive.
Yeah.
And then what they would bank on is those people coming back saying they want to buy. And then you got to find a buyer for it. So they didn't already have a buyer.
So they didn't have a buyer lined up.
Nah.
So you're spending money, not even sure if it's a deal. The people are calling you back. And did they at least tell them how to find the numbers or what it's worth?
Yeah, so you had to kind of come up with your own, like, you had to do comps. So like you people call you back and say, hey, I want to sell my land, and now you got to figure out what to offer them. So it's a lot of pressure because now you got to do comps on 20, 30 properties that may not even be a deal. Yeah. And like land comps, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not easy. It's not like houses. Yeah. You know?
So, okay, so is this, now you're doing her method. This is her method, right? When did you start, switching up the method, or when did you start like getting traction with the land?
So I never did, because her method, it was tough, and I never got traction. Nothing ever happened. I think I called you and I was asking you questions. I was like, I think I asked you about comps. And then you was like, you just offer what your builder gonna pay. I'm like, man, what Eli talking about? And it still didn't click. I was just like, man, you know what? Bump that. And I just like never really would stick with it. I'd flirt between, all right, I'm a wholesale. When real estate would make me mad, I'll go try to wholesale, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I just go back and forth.
Okay. Yeah. So how'd you get your first land deal?
So my first land deal, I think you had called me. And you had a deal where I think your builder didn't want it, and you was like, see what you can do with it. And I hit them up, locked it up, and ended up throwing it on the MLS. Okay. Yeah. And what happened when you threw it on the MLS? Threw it on the MLS, found a buyer within a few days, and I think I made like $8K or something like that. Yeah. That's lit. And I remember this because I got this lot. My builder was paying like $20,000 at the time in this area. I got this person at like $8,000. But when my builder was like, this and this is wrong with the lot, I'm like, you know what? The guy said he really, really wanted to sell. So I'm like, I have a realtor in this area. He sold multiple real estate. So, contact him, see if he would be interested. Or can I give him your contact? That's when I gave him your contact, gave you his contact. And the fact that you was able to make money on that, I was excited seeing that. I'm like, wow. Yeah. And that actually gave me the idea of start listing properties from seeing that. So every deal my builder would deny, that's when I'll just list properties. And that's when I started actually making money on the MLS. So like you low key put me onto something I didn't even really know. So that started that for me. So what happened, after that? So now okay, I got 8K. This is my first land deal. What happened after that? Went back to doing it the way that she was doing it, because I had more money to mess up. Because I made 8K. That's all you doing is messing up money, doing it the way they're doing it. And I ended up finding a guy through that method. And same thing, man, locked it up. I had to throw him on the MLS, what I'm saying? But it was just like, it was too slow. But it worked, but it's slow. Yeah, because with how I do it, my strategy, right? I find the market and the builder first. When I find that builder, I get the builder's price. So when do you start doing like, you know what? I'm gonna just stick to this method. I'm gonna reach out to builders and just focus on that. So when I, between you, watching you and what you was doing, I think that's when you start being a little more transparent. Because you used to be stingy. I don't know if you remember that. Like, you told me at one point, I'm not about to train my competition. You told me that. You told me that. And so then to see you doing what you're doing now, I'm like, okay, he come full circle. So you start being a little more transparent and explaining like the process and how you do things. And then that's when I knew that I needed to, start reaching out to builders. And so that's when I started that. Yeah. So how do you reach out to builders? So the first thing I did was I went I was used to, I don't know why, I had closed 2 in Homosassa, so I went to their Builders Association website to try to find builders that was in the area. Okay, so you went to the Builders Association website and you just reached out to builders from there? Yeah. Yeah, so I was reaching out to builders off of the Builders Association website, getting their phone number and just running a script, hey, who handles your land acquisition, and just trying to, find out their criteria, or at least get an email address for their land acquisition person.
Okay, so once you get the email and you get in contact with the land acquisitions, what do you tell them? What do you ask them?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to find out, are they buying? If they're buying, what are they trying to buy? And do they even like dealing with wholesalers? Some of them don't like wholesalers, So are y'all cool with wholesalers? Because some of them, yeah, I'll buy. And then, when you send them deals, they're not really buying like that. Or some of them don't want to tell you how much they'll pay. Like they just, some of them. So I had to learn the difference between a real deal cash buyer and just somebody who looked like that. It's a difference, you know. So I had to learn it the hard way, because I was shopping for a builder who wasn't really buying like that. That was my first experience with builders.
So with the association, does every county, every city have that?
So I want to say they do, but all the ones that I've looked for, they've had it, like a builders association. Now, is every builder a part of the association? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I think the major ones that you want to be dealing with, that's a part of being legit. So that's where they're going to be.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of the seller side, how are you reaching, or are you creating lists for vacant land?
Yeah. So once I'm finding out what the builders want, I'm hopping on Propstream, and I'm putting together a list for that area, and then my criteria that I like using.
Okay. Yeah. So anything you feel like is a little different between your criteria? Like, do you focus on tax delinquent or things of that nature?
So I don't narrow it down that far. I'm looking for. Most thing I'm looking for is, what do my builders want? Like, if they say, I don't want lots on main roads, I'm actually driving for dollars. I don't pull just any list. And then also, I'm looking for certain ownership characteristics. Like, I don't want somebody who just bought the lot a year ago. Yeah. But no, I'm not pressing pain points as far as tax delinquent and things like that.
Okay, so you said driving for dollars. Are you actually getting in your car driving, or
virtual driving?
All right. So for the person that doesn't know what virtual driving for dollars is, can you explain that to them?
Yeah. So essentially, what I'm doing is I'm looking on PropStream, and I'm actually looking at the lot as if I'm driving through the area. I'm looking at the lot to make sure it has the characteristics that my builder needs. So I'm not just pulling a list and saying I want land in this particular area. I want land in that area, but land that looks like this and that has this. It takes a lot more time, but I find for me, I'm able to focus in on those lots, because those are the specific lots. So instead of reaching out to 500 people, I'm reaching out to 200 people that are legit what my builder's looking for. So now I could give them more money, more energy, more time.
And if you negotiate a deal with any of those vacant landowners, it's a deal.
Absolutely.
Because you specifically looked for it. When you pull lists, sometimes it could be a land that's not nowhere near a house. So you want to make sure that you also do the virtual driving for dollars when you're creating these lists, because those lists usually be the best, because if I speak to the seller and negotiate a price, I could sell this deal. So now, okay, so you get that first deal for 8K. You're starting to do the builder's price point as your strategy now. So what was your next steps after that?
So the next step, because remember, I was taught to do the mailers, but that's expensive, that's slow, and I had to find a better way to reach people. And I had always heard about SMS, but again, I wasn't doing it. And just Googling, and I found REI Reply. And that was the first SMS platform that I found. I thought it was too good to be true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I thought it was lying, but Have
you closed the deal from SMS?
Oh yeah, Okay, my latest one was SMS. Yeah.
Okay, the latest one you just closed.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that. So from start A, what were you looking for? Like, for somebody that just got into land flipping, start from the beginning.
As far as SMS or the outreach?
Like outreach.
Yeah, so I had experienced a slower, more expensive way to reach sellers. So now I was looking for something quicker, like less skin in the game. Like, what's the quickest way to find out what these people want to do? Because they either don't want to sell or they don't. I can't be sending something out and waiting a week or whatever to hear back. So again, once I found the REI Reply does SMS, is now figuring out, okay, what to say to these people, you know. And luckily at that time, REI Reply kind of had some templates in place that will help you reach out to sellers. So I took what they had and then I tweaked it to sound how I wanted it to sound.
Okay, so now did you pull a list or you did the virtual driving for dollars for this one?
Right, yeah. So again, I'm always doing that. Like, I guess I call it building a list. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, building a list. Yeah. So building a list, uploading it into REI Reply, and then using their campaigns to reach out to people by SMS.
So when you're sending out texts, are you sending them out in like a drip automation, or are you like personally sending out 10 messages at the time?
Yeah, so when REI Reply, when you sign up, they have an onboarding, and they taught me the onboarding to do the drip. So that's all I've ever did was the drip. And so
so for somebody that doesn't know what drip automation is, explain that to them.
So drip automation is basically where you're telling the system to send out a certain amount of messages within a certain time frame. So like if you want to text 200 people, you're not texting all 200 at one time. You're doing a drip. The system is saying, you know, text X amount of people in X time frame, and the system will follow that for you.
So with the programs online, they literally do all the work for you. You just have to schedule the time for the text. So for example, I want to send out 100 texts next week at this time. With the systems in place that we have, you could literally schedule that time and they'll send the text. And that's what you did, right?
Absolutely.
So now they respond back to your text. How those messages go?
So based on their response, you know, you're going to get a lot of stops, you're going to get a lot of FU, you're going to get a lot of crazy stuff.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. Once you sift all that out and you get to the people that say, hey, you know, send me an offer, or someone will say, hey, I want this. And so that's where I appreciated having the builder, because now I'm not running trying to figure out what to offer these people. I know instantly if it's a deal or not. So I was like, man, like fireworks went off in my head, because it was like I was getting it out the mud, and now this feels so much more different.
Yep. So now, did you make your offer right away when the lady or the guy contacted you?
Yeah. So if it's a situation where I know right away I am going to make the offer right away, or I would do something to, you know, buy myself some time. Oh, let me, you know, take a look, or let me run this by somebody if it's something I got to go take a look at. But I'm trying to get an offer out immediately, because speed to lead is key, you know, because you're not the only one texting these people.
Yeah.
You know.
So what was your buyer buying at in this price?
So
in this area, I mean.
Yeah, so in that particular time, I had somebody that was paying like $20K for this particular lot, and some of them that was paying $30K, where he appeared to be. You know, again, this is my builder who said he was legit, but he wasn't.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So now you negotiate with the seller. Did you get the seller under contract first, or did you bring the deal to the builder and ask him if this is a deal?
Right. So I brought the deal to the builder because, again, I was new doing it that way, and I didn't want to lock up the lot unless I for sure had, you know, a deal. So I bring it to the builder to see, you know, what his response would be.
Okay, and what he said?
Man, he you know, a lot of, nah, this one won't work, but it fit his criteria. He told me, and then he ultimately stopped responding.
Dang.
Yeah.
So what you do after that?
I mean, it was frustrating because it was like, you know, I found this new way, but it's still not working because he not serious. But then, you know, just having a real estate background, understanding that you gotta be consistent and you gotta keep going. So found better builders, man, you know, honestly, because that guy just,
He wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there, man. His name was Bruce, and you know I had some words for Bruce in my head though.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You may do, man. His name.
I don't want to say his last name.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it either. But it's Bruce though.
Wow.
So I said, oh, you know, I'm gonna keep it PG.
Yeah. So now, right? Did your next builder buy this lot, or how'd you end up selling this deal?
So I didn't sell any of those deals because I had that one builder, and then that was my time where, like, my biggest thing, if it didn't work, I'll stop. And so that's the thing, I kept stopping because when I hit a roadblock, I'm done with that. I'm a real estate agent. I'm gonna holler at y'all. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my dilemma.
So when you know get some traction going?
So the biggest thing, man, I always had in the back of my mind that some of my easiest money came from over there. So it's like, and then again, I'm watching you, like Eli doing it, and I'm knowing that I'm not sticking with it. That's why I'm not getting it. And so just kind of went back to it, man. And I mean, I had the formula, like I'm 75% of the way there. I have a seller that wants to sell. I just need to, you know what I'm saying? And then also I always had the MLS in my back pocket, so I could have just got the deal on the contract and did it that way. Just being stubborn and not being focused, bro. But once I got all that out the way, that's when the traction came because I just stuck with it.
Okay. So yeah, I know this past week you posted in the free group, you know, 2 deals that you got back to back. So with those deals, did you use the MLS? Did you find the buyer using the association?
So I actually threw that one on the MLS because I was running this campaign for a builder, but I knew it did not fit his criteria because this particular lot was on the main road. And I'm not gonna lie, it crushed me because I got excited. I was like, oh, I got what he want. Then I knew it was on the main road. I said, I'm gonna ask him anyway. And he was like, nah, it ain't gonna work. So then I did what I knew and I threw it on the MLS.
Okay, so you throw it on the MLS. For the people that don't know what the MLS is, can you explain that to them?
Yeah, so that's the multiple listing service. That's where real estate agents list properties. So when you go list your house, whatever, an agent puts it on the MLS, and the MLS is actually what shoots it out to Zillow, Redfin, Realtor, and all those other sites. So when you're on those sites, those properties are coming from the MLS.
Okay, so now how long until somebody reached out to you? Because when you list it on the MLS, people or agents are going to reach out to you. So how long did that take?
Took about 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. 2 days.
Phone ringing.
Hey, look, when you got a good deal, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
And the MLS is just that, you know, extra little push, which can be a good thing or a bad thing in our industry. But in this case, it was a good thing.
Okay, so now what price did you have the lot for?
What I lock it up for?
Yeah.
I locked it up at 20K.
20K?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you list it for?
I listed it for 35.
35.
Yeah.
People calling your phone.
Yeah.
What's the offers they giving?
So there's, you know, everybody 32, 33. You know, nobody want to give you what you
asking, right?
Yeah. So they offer 32.
32.
Yeah.
And you went with that?
Nah. So you know me, I'm a counter offer. So I got them up to 34. I got to get something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 34.
Okay. Yeah. And how much you made this deal?
So I made 12K. Yeah. Yeah, 12K.
That's lit. Congrats.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
I know that feels good, you know, those good 5-figure checks, especially, you know, with land deals, and especially a deal that your builder was like, no, this isn't for me. Mm-hmm. So now usually most people, they just throw away the deal or cancel the deal. But no, use your other resources. Be resourceful, right? List it on the MLS. You never know who's gonna buy, especially on the MLS. Mm-hmm. You know, so I know that felt good.
Yeah.
Got that 12K deal.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what is your operation looking like now?
So right now, man, it's just about systems and processes, fine-tuning everything to make that keep happening with more efficiency, man. You know, I actually, you know, not suggesting the new people do this, but I have a VA that helps me out because, you know, I got other things going on, so I need some leverage.
Yeah, what's a VA?
Oh yeah, virtual assistant. Which this particular virtual assistant is located overseas, so that means they require less money than you would have to pay somebody stateside.
Okay, and what is your VA doing?
So my VA is doing my driving for dollars, because that's the first thing I leverage, because it takes the most time and it doesn't necessarily pay me anything. So she's pulling my list, and then she's naturally a cold caller, so she's actually cold calling. I got lucky with her being able to do some admin stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I have my virtual assistants do as well. Like you said, they build that list. They do the virtual driving for dollars. So when I contact these builders, they give me their price points and areas. I have them, create my list. So when I'm making offers, I know that they're deals. Now we just got to reach people and make offers. So, what would you tell your 18-year-old self, knowing this information now?
Man, knowing what I know, I'm gonna keep it real. I would not have gone to college. I would have spent that time where I have no bills, no responsibility, not really expecting, nobody's expecting anything from me, and I dive into, I want to say real estate because it's what I do, but some kind of high income producing activity. Yeah, that's what I do. Whether it be real estate, some kind of sales. Yeah, that's just it.
Sales and marketing.
Yeah. So that's what I would do differently, man.
What advice would you give like a new land flipper?
Man, find out what you need to find out. So you may be the person that can go to YouTube. You may be somebody that needs to call Eli, but learn what you're trying to do. Because if you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work. It's just not. And then you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to fail when you have people out here that are reasonably priced to help you do this.
So how do you balance work and personal life as an entrepreneur?
Man, that's a good question, man. And that's a question that is real for me, because I'm an entrepreneur and I got a family. So I don't have this blank slate of a day where I could go out and do what I want to do, be where I want to be. The biggest thing I can tell you is like a schedule, And in order to have a schedule, you got to establish what are you doing. I think the biggest thing as an entrepreneur, we leave our job because we want to be free and we want to be our own boss. But if you're an entrepreneur, your entrepreneur endeavor is kind of set up like a job where you clock in and clock out. And so figure out what you're doing first, and then whatever you're doing, there's a order of operations to that. I got to market, I got to follow up with my employees, set a schedule, and then clock out. That's the biggest thing I had to learn. I didn't know how to clock out. So my fam would be like, yo, and I'd be like, I'm working. And that sounds good, but to them, it doesn't sound good. And then in entrepreneurship, things don't always go right. So a lot of times the money doesn't match the time you put in. So now your fam is looking for you, and you're not available, and then the money's not there. So you kind of you have nothing. Yeah. So you gotta like balance things out, because the money will come, but you don't want to lose your fam in the process. And then if you don't have a fam, your social life, your gym life, whatever the case may be, you don't want to lose yourself in that business, because that's the same thing as clocking into a job and letting that job take over your life. It's no different. That is your business. It's all the same. Same thing. So, yeah.
Okay. So like in terms of, do you work where you like work at home?
Yeah, nah, man. So I do work at home, but on most days I gotta leave the house because I gotta separate the two. Yeah. Got to.
Because I feel like right now, like with me, we work at home, right? Everything's virtual, so sometimes I'll work in the crib, but I always notice when I work at like coffee shops, or if I take myself outside of my crib, that's always my best work.
Absolutely.
So is that the same with you?
Yeah, man. Your environment matters. Your environment matters about productivity, the aesthetics, all that matters, bro. All of it. At home, it's too comfortable. You know, which working at home is possible, but it's not going to be the same as going somewhere.
Okay. Talk about the importance of mentorship, or, paying for education, whether it's courses, trainings, consultations. Talk about the importance of that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, you know, and you got people out here who are doing it. Now, be careful because there's a lot of people who are saying they're doing it and they're not. You know, do your due diligence, but if you can find somebody that is doing it and they're reasonably priced, because it's some stuff that I know people can't afford to pay, you know, the 30 and 40K. So if you find somebody that's reasonably priced and they appear to be doing what they're saying they're doing, you know, give them a call and take the training and actually dive in and do what they're telling you to do.
Okay. How would somebody, because you know, when you started out, you was using a different land flipping program than what I teach, right? And you was getting frustrated on that. But once you went this route, you understand it. It's a more simpler, easier, straightforward path. So what would you tell somebody else that's indecisive on those two different programs? Like, how can they make that right decision?
Yeah, so look into what the programs are. You know, if it's a good program, they usually have some type of free webinar resource or something that's gonna give you at least a base level outline of what they're doing. Check that out. Don't just sign up. Check that out. See, does it make sense? Compare. Don't feel like you're pressured, because like every system, sign up, you're gonna miss out. And that's a sales tactic. Be calm, do your due diligence, put it on paper and compare and see what makes most sense for you and your style.
Yeah. So what role does networking play in your entrepreneur route?
Man, that's a tough question for me because I never liked the word networking, and the reason I didn't like it is because I didn't like going out meeting people, so I would shy away from it. But the reality of the situation is it's a cheat code, you know, because like if I hadn't met you, it's, you know, like I probably wouldn't be flipping land right now. So you got to go out and meet people and talk to people and just embrace it, you know. Don't network in places that you don't want to be in. Find your people and it'll work out for you.
Yes, sir. So where can these people follow you at?
Man, you can actually follow me on Instagram, Facebook. It is Dev Bascom, DEVBASCOMBE. Mainly Instagram though.
Okay, and you say you got Facebook, you got TikTok?
Yeah, I got TikTok. Same thing, Dev Bascom. Yeah.
Okay.
Try to keep it simple.
And my boy do content, so make sure y'all tap in with him for sure. Tell us about that, right? With content. What's the importance with content? Because I see that you post, right? So I know you say you're a shy person. So what importance does content play in your real estate, you know, career?
People can't buy what they can't see, you know, and so you gotta put yourself where the eyes are. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on the type of person you are, the eyes are on social media. So you gotta put something out there. I ain't saying it gotta be perfect, but you gotta do something. And then, you know, if you can get your money up and get some help, now that content becomes a little bit easier. But you gotta do something. So that's just it, you know. Get out your way, do something.
Yes, sir. Thank you for blessing the Game Changers podcast, you know. And if you guys want to learn how to flip land, I need you guys to text land at 813-687-8867. Game Changers. Sir.
Lock in with my guy.